I want to say thank you to everyone who actually joined, or if you're just joining us now, we're just trying to look at strategies of finding job opportunities. I'm thinking of us having this activity frequently so that we get to like open our minds to what is new in the space. And alongside, I just wanted to just advertise myself a little. I have a YouTube channel. It's called Schneider Shades. If you're actually interested, you can do well to subscribe and get to see if the videos are, although it's still low quality for now, but I'm putting the content based on how people relate with it, and if it's something you're interested in, you can kindly subscribe. And so also alongside, I want to introduce someone who I've known for a couple of years now, 5 years. So he has been a mentor, a brother, like almost. Let me just say anything that has to do with mentorship. He has been the one like doing it. He's one of the alumni of Lagos Business School. He's a business guy. Like his mindset's no be here. So at least he'll even be giving us some ideas to which we can actually get to find more strategies to ourselves. Although he came late, but at least maybe he can actually blend with us. He's into the tech space. He's one of the leads of Nigerian Solana community, which is going to be talking about today. So you see if you can be able to, if your mindset is diving towards the idea of cryptocurrency and all those stuff like that. So um, please help us welcome Nzube Ezudo. Um, yes, boss. We're here. So Jakamso, please, I think you reach out to me privately if you don't mind. Yeah. I think you're on mute at the moment.
Okay, yeah. So how's it going? How's everybody going?
Yeah, fine.
Everybody doing? Okay, good, good, good. So quick one. I mean, the the most important thing, like I overheard you guys talk about strategies and jobs and everything, right? And the most important thing that I often say in tech is that it's always evolving, but the problems kind of almost stay the same, right?
Right.
So if you're building stuff, right, it helps that you build that if you're trying to learn how to build, it helps that you start with something that you actually want to see in the world, right? I found out that it's the easiest way to truly learn how to build, right, and not to just um, copy like people's tutorials and all that, right? So I mean, yes, it's one of the easiest ways to start, but the smartest way is to basically pick something that you truly want to build, right? Then now try to build it learning tutorials and not the other way around, right? But I mean, I overheard that, so I just wanted to kind of drop that. Then on strategies to make money with tech, one thing I always say is the simpler the better, right? In tech, people that build tend to overbuild because they want to build a lot of things,
Right.
right? Because you can do it. In the real market, that's not what works, right? Build the tiniest version of the product, the tiniest, and actually go to market and know if it's going to be accepted, right? Don't build 20 things. Don't build a monolithic product. Build a simple feature that can plug into another company's pipeline, right?
That's like
Then
as
now,
regarding open source, right?
yes, yes,
Mm,
yes.
yeah.
Then you can now slowly keep adding to it. So let's say, I mean, look at Paystack, right? Paystack builds a simple API for payments, but instead adding things like what do I call it? Like payment links. That was much later. Like you just keep adding stuff on top of it,
WordPress
on top of it. Right?
plugins, yeah.
Yeah, WordPress plugin, yeah, all those sort of things. But just build the tiniest thing because that way you can ship very fast, right? And it doesn't have to be pretty. Just build it,
Yeah, right.
right? It doesn't have to be pretty. And many people fall into that category where they want to build pretty things, right? The market doesn't care. Sometimes what you're trying to build can actually work as a Telegram group. You're just over building it,
Yeah.
right? So that's just on that part. Then when it comes to strategies, so like Shay's mentioned, I am the lead for Super Team Nigeria, right? And what we basically do is, I know when he said crypto, some of you kind of like, this is not a this is not a pitch or a token or a get rich quick scheme thing. That's not what we're doing. What we're doing at Solana is building a platform, a proper compute platform where other people can build on top, right? So if you want things like loyalty programs, things like payments, all of those things in the Web3 space, right? That's what Solana is. And what we do as Super Team is we look for Solana developers, Solana creators, Solana or basically operators. Even if you're not on Solana yet, right? If you're a developer, you're a creator. If you can write JavaScript, you can write Python. You're good. You don't even have to learn Rust. Rust helps if you're going to be writing like very serious smart contracts.
Mm.
But the beautiful thing about Solana is that we've already built out a lot of tech stack that you can just take and extend, right? So if you can write JavaScript, you can use Solana Pay to write it. If you can use Solana Pay to basically do payments, and that's already a Solana application, right?
Mm.
So what my job is I find developers, I find creators, I find operators, right? And I help them grow and earn money, right? So we have a lot of job opportunities in the ecosystem that we need people to fill,
To feel, yeah.
right? So programming jobs, content writing jobs. Then if you're a startup or if you're still have a very small idea, we can give you a grant to go try the idea and know if it's going to work
Work
out,
or not,
right? Yeah. Then I mean, so if you're still learning how to program, right, and you want to build on top of the Solana stack, we have what we call bounties. So it's a bounty where a company sets an amount of money, sometimes $1,000. The last one that one company said was $4,000. They set the bounty, and people come in and they try to win the bounty. So they basically write their own version, right? So it's basically a way. If you're learning, it's a way for you to earn money while you're learning, right? So bounties are not salaries. Bounties bounties are incentives that help you move from not knowing anything to your first job. One of the biggest problems for developers is getting that first job, right? It's very hard. So what if you were able to earn a bounty, or you were able to build 3 products while you were trying to earn a bounty? That's already your portfolio. So it incentivizes you to kind of build like a portfolio in the field you want to get acquired in.
Right.
They want to work in, right? So once that happens, if you go beyond that level, we can now give you a grant, which is, it can be $1,000, it can be $5,000, it can be $10,000, right? Then if you go beyond that, where you've actually built something and you want like a bigger investment, right? We can introduce you to Solana Ventures. We can introduce you to like bigger up the scale. If you're looking for a job, once we know what your skill sets are and we have access to your case hub and you've done our pitch event, we can basically refer you to some foreign companies in the Solana space. The salaries in Web3 are really good, right? Like for a developer, you're looking at 2,000 to 5,000, depending on how good your dollars, right? And this is like in this new Nigeria where everything is rising, right? It helps, like that's like only 1 point something, At least when your 1 month salary can actually pay your rent,
Right.
that works a lot, right? So that's what we're actually doing, is finding developers, finding creators, finding operators. If you're not on Solana yet and you can write JavaScript, it's my job to now do like a proper workshop where I can show you the stacks that you can use, and Shades can show you that too. Shades will definitely show you that. It's just if you need an extra lesson, you can just let me know.
Yeah.
But so if you can write Python already, we already have Seahorse. So it's our own bundler for Python code, right? So you would bundle Python and you will run it on our machines, right?
Yeah.
If you write JavaScript, fine. If you write React, X NFTs are built on React, right?
Yeah.
If you write Flutter very well, Espresso Cash, the guys that built Espresso Cash for Solana, they are the developer was the one that actually built the Flutter Wave. The Flutter SDK for Solana, right? And I can always get him to basically talk to anybody that's a Flutter person, right? So I mean, the beautiful thing is that it's a community of developers that are plugged into money in the Solana ecosystem. So the whole point is this: you have some skill sets. Look at the Solana ecosystem, right? There are jobs there, there are bounties, there are grants, there are investment opportunities, right? So once we see what you can build, right? Once we see what you can build, we can basically push you up the ladder, right?
Yeah.
We do what we call sprints. So like on Monday, you pick an idea and you're supposed to pitch it by Friday, right? So you pick on the idea, quickly iterate on a Friday. The good thing about these pitch events is that at the pitch events, we can bring in more top execs from the foundation, from people that even want to hire you, right? They can come and listen on the pitch, and if they like what they're hearing or they like your presentation, they might say, what, at least we want to work with this person, and like that, you've gone, right? So my job is to, like Chase was telling me, that there's a community, and one thing is my job is figure out your skill sets and funnel money and opportunity to you, right? That's basically what my job is, right? So I mean, that's it.
This makes sense. Yeah, this makes sense. So let me give you a trace of how I got to meet Nzube. So while I was serving back then, there was a guy I knew called Dara and Chris. So they wanted to start a startup, and they introduced me to a guy called Oreva. Then from Oreva, I got to meet another guy called Michael. Then Michael introduced me to him in 2018, and we've actually been relatives since then. So this actually drives the whole idea of point one that we're talking about initially. Try and make sure that you're actually in the minds of people, which is very, very important. Very, very important. So that would, sorry to actually digress. So do you have any question as regarding what he has said so far, how you can join and all those stuff like that? You can.
And also just to add to that, right?
Yeah. So someone said this. Someone said this.
Okay,
yeah. Can you see the chat?
Yeah, I think I can say it. Hold on. Okay, hi Nzube. I'm a front-end developer in 203 too. This year I built a website that works on Solana blockchain. Oh, nice. You send the link here.
Yeah.
You should send the link so that
Yeah.
I'll check it and maybe just review it and know. I'm basically just plug it in.
Okay. Okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
So yeah, you were trying to say something initially.
Okay. So yesterday I was at Ventures platform with OO. I don't know how many of you know OO.
Yeah. Someone said it knows.
Okay, yeah. So we're talking about. How clusters and communities are important, right?
Right.
You know, the thing is this, right? You need things like this where people come together and they're like, how can we share value around? That's actually the whole idea behind Web3, right? Which is how can we create value as a network, and how can the proceeds, the value that we create, be shared meritocratically within the network, so that it's not just some people that are having it.
Right.
And it's only through communities that you can actually achieve that.
Yeah.
Right. So I mean, the beautiful thing is that, like, what I was saying is, like, it's important that people get active in some of these communities because there are opportunities, right?
Yeah.
Like for us, what we're looking for is where can we find great people that are building stuff, right? And if we can find them and we can give them the support they need, and they use our APIs and our tech stack to start building stuff. We actually benefit at the tail end, right?
Yeah.
Because the more people use the platform and your technology, the better you are as a platform, right? So it's actually important. There are loads of money that are trapped into foundations. The problem is that foundations don't know how to communicate with people.
Yeah.
They speak, like I always say, shit. So
Yeah.
technology people speak tech.
Yeah.
They need to speak human,
yeah.
right? And that ability to speak human and to say, what, a wallet is not. We shouldn't be building a wallet to force everybody to use it. Maybe what just mentioned, right? I have to now go and look at the link, and once I see what it is, I might even know like 2 or 3 companies that are trying to recruit from there, right? And I can say, okay, fine, please, look at this guy, look at what he's done, And if I look at it and it's not up to par yet, or like it's not designed in such a way that is Web3 friendly, at least the
You
way
can
that
also
they
be
are,
guided. Yeah.
I can now do like a proper like a session where I'm like, okay, fine, why not tweak this and tweak this and tweak this and put this layer, right? And that way you can now be introduced to the bigger ecosystem, right? And people can basically start reaching out to you. So that's basically it.
Okay. That makes sense. Does anyone have any other question? Again, they said
Ishmael, Jamie said, I'm much interested in joining your team.
Yeah.
I'm a friend. Okay, fine. Yeah, I mean, we definitely talk about that.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Okay. But okay, sure. Okay, so I mean, is there anybody should speak or speak up if you have any questions, right? I mean, just let me know.
So the truth about it is, there's money in the space. Yeah, Chinonso, you want to say something?
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, good afternoon. How are you doing?
Yeah.
How is the weekend going, sir? And everyone.
Fine.
Okay, so I've been on the background listening. I've been on the background listening, and at the time, my network pulled me out, so I had to rejoin. So I didn't know when you came up, but I know I came up when you were talking about Solana and the rest of them. So I am a product designer, and
Okay.
I am I would say I'm quite experienced. I have 5 years plus and all this. So so my background, I started as a developer, just intermediate developer, but at the time I switched to design. So in all these things, where is the place of the place of a design and all these things? So because most times the truth is these days I have tried to take a niche in my design career, and a lot of people come up, they tell you they are Web3 designers, they are this, and I look at all these things. Sometimes, sorry to say this, but it's true. I laugh because to me, I think it's just a different way to capture data. Just the same interface is what you can use in B2B, B2C, in all this fintech and the rest of them. So, but was with just what you said now. So it looks as if you're channeling everything to developers. Maybe I'm sounding straight because probably I'm the only designer here, but I just want to throw it up. So where is the place of the designer, product designer, and
so like you said, you were not here earlier. So we're targeting 3 people, right? Designers, creators, operators, right? So the developers are one, creators are important, right? So creators is basically where you get the content writers, the UI UX people, right? So basically the storytellers, right? So that's actually what we're targeting. We're targeting that. We're targeting developers. We're targeting operators. So people that already run businesses, but are neither developers nor creators, right? So that's what we're targeting. And like you said, I mean, if you were actually listening earlier, like you would have heard me say, right? So that's actually how we're going around it, because we identified that developers alone cannot.
You also mentioned content creators too, so that it's not.
Yeah.
You also mentioned content creators, not just yeah.
Yeah, so like I said, like on the creator part, that's where you have UI, UX, product designers, because the product designer is basically a story. Your let's say you are doing a dashboard, for example. Well, how would you build a dashboard in such a way that it actually surfaces the right data on the top? What are the big numbers on top? What are the most important numbers on top, right? That's storytelling, right? What is the best way for somebody to kind of see where to use the least? How responsive is that dashboard on a smartphone? Those sort of things, right? Those conversations. Should we even be designing a full-on dashboard, or should we design just a simple pop-up menu, right? Is the voice notes better than text message? Those kind of decisions, right? So that is what creators do. Developers develop, like they write the bits, right? So that's actually what I'm doing with Super Team, which is finding all these parts that are actually important, right? Like we're even talking to some voiceover artists, right? That can help do advertise ads and all the storytelling, like do the ads, do the podcast, do all those things, right? It's like a very big, a very big push, So that's it. I mean, I hope that answers the question.
Sure. Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay.
So, yeah. So I mean, anybody else have a question?
Right. Does anyone?
I mean, what we can do is this, right? I mean, Shades can basically kind of talk to everybody, and if people are interested, right, you can basically, if you don't have anything now per se, you can basically get it on the sprint on Monday, right? So, go. I've given Shades the links, right?
Yeah.
Where you can go. If you don't have an idea in your head, you can basically just go and pick any item to Friday, you work on it, you design it, you pitch it. So for someone like Chinonso, right, you can go pick an idea, and what you're thinking is, okay, fine, maybe I designed the UI UX for this, right? Or I designed this product, like how it's supposed to kind of look, right? And do like a case study for it. So maybe you can do that, and on Friday we all do a pitch where everybody says this is what I built. What that does is that basically creates a proof of work for you already. So that when I'm actually suggesting you to for a role, I can say, oh, this is this person's proof of work.
Yeah.
That they've done. I'm like, I've designed the Web3 products before. You get?
Yeah.
So that phrase kind of helps you build out your proof of work, right? And the beautiful thing is that the fact that you're doing it as a competition, right? And from Monday to Friday, it helps. It helps to kind of get over the line. Because the easiest way for me to help is know what you've done and take you and say, okay, fine. When I'm introducing you to like, this is what this person has done. You get?
Hi, Zubi.
So anybody else have a question? Yeah?
Yeah. Okay. I think we lost you a while, but we can hear you now.
I'm back now.
Okay. Nice. So does anyone have a question? Okay, so as regarding link, I'm going to share the link. Come in. Also, do you have the link with you? I'm using my laptop. So I think. Oh, I'm just a moment.
Yeah, I want to.
Okay, that's fine.
Okay.
So I think it's actually cool to actually to have people who are well connected in the space, especially on the business side, because most of the times we need to get to open our eyes to see that in as much as we are speaking the tech terms, sometimes that's not really the core part of the core part is getting to solve problems as much as we need to. The core part is actually getting to solve problems as much as we need to by actually having. Okay, so I think Nzube has sent the link at the moment, so we can just get to.
Okay. Bello said I specialize in. Okay, beautiful. Yeah. So can Bello come up? Let me ask him some questions. So.
Hi, Bello.
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay.
Good, I'm good. Good afternoon.
So you said you do React, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, yeah. Do you have any link to like something you've done before?
I have.
Rated here. I think what would also help is
All right.
um, if we could do sprints from Monday to Friday, right? So what that does is that if you've already built something, right, you can now take that in and flesh it out, right? Right, or can basically just move it to now be like a Web3 version of it, so like what a proper Web3 version is, right? And I mean, on Monday, if people are up for it, we can basically discuss it, right? I mean, but to just help out, right? See what at the very core, what Web3 is ownership. Is the Web1 was a web where you could only read. So you go to a website and there's something on the website, you can read it. So the old Wikipedia and that, right? Like your old normal website. Web2 was the Facebook where you could read, but you could write to it. So you can read something, but you can now post back into what you're reading, right? What we found out with Web2 was that it was beautiful, it brought us together, it built networks. But all the value we created, all our attention, got exploited by the platform owners, right? So we all come together and we create stuff for Facebook and YouTube. Well, Facebook, but they're the ones that take all the money, right? So what Web3 is really trying to do is say, once there's a network creating value, there should be a way to make sure that the value is distributed meritocratically around the people that are actually contributing it. So if I'm posting something on YouTube and YouTube is making 40 billion in revenue, I should get something from what I've been posting, depending on if I was posting or if I was sharing.
Yeah, right.
That's not the whole idea. So whenever you're building a product, right? If you already build a product and you're thinking of how do I make it a Web3 product, what you're really saying is, how can I make this in such a way that multiple people are creating on it, and how am I rewarding everybody creating value for this network? That's basically what it is. It's just, is there a network in place? Is there low trust where people don't trust that the value being created is shared equally, right? Is anybody taking all the value? Once you have a problem like that, solving it in such a way that you can now move the value around where people that are creating also earn at the same time, right?
Yeah.
And one of the easiest ways to do that is to say, how can I outsource some of my business functions to my customers, and how can I reward them for it? So, example is, if I create a contest for them to help me build the next line of products, well, that's basically me outsourcing my R&D to them,
right,
and outsourcing my innovation to them, right? If I create a system where if they buy something, right, and they share it with their friends and their friends buy, they can get a discount, right? Well, that's me outsourcing my marketing to them. You understand?
Yeah.
So, what part of your business, if I say, okay, if you carry 1,000 products, I can sell it to you for cheap. Well, that's me outsourcing my storage to them. So what are the things in your business or whatever idea you're creating that you're outsourcing things to people, right? So I think that's one way to look at it. But I mean, like I said, let me see what people have built already, so I can keep a tab and know where to put people. Then, if we can actually run that sprint on Monday, from Monday to Friday, right? So everybody can brush up what they've actually done and basically move it and build a Web3 version of it, right? So we could do that. Then where they can now use Solana Pay, Solana listed and integrate it into it, right? Then we can now do that, and we'll now see where that takes us.
Okay, that makes sense. That makes sense. Yeah, I just sent you something on Nzube. Maybe you'll be familiar based on our last conversation.
Okay.
The link.
Okay. Yeah.
Are you viewing it with your laptop or your system? I'm sorry, your phone.
My phone, yeah.
Okay. You just check the menu.
Okay. What did you send it on WhatsApp?
Yeah, I sent it on WhatsApp actually.
Okay. Sure.
When you check it, you just check the menu.
Okay.
Yeah. So if you have any other question, you can actually let me know. So or let us know. Nzube will be here to answer. So I think Exactly. I just wanted you to just give that.
The leaderboard, right?
Right, yeah, sure. So yeah, so I think the clarity is there now. So you can just check the link, see what you can play around with. The truth about it is there's a lot of money in the space, and the crazy thing is there are companies that are willing to give money out just on the basis of
Yeah.
adoption. They just want you to adopt their platform, kind of, to use it to solve problem in the space. So once you're able to do that, Zubi is actually here. Is actually supervising the he's in charge of the super team in Nigeria here. So he can actually be able to pitch you to the various investors who are willing to give this money out. And so I really appreciate you, Zubi, for coming. And I think we'll have more prominent people like this. I hope they will agree to come because most of them they don't get my time.
Yeah, the thing is that it's easier
Yeah.
when the people in your community
Yeah.
have stuff.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
So because the point is that, the reason why I'm here is that one, we have a relationship, right?
Yeah.
But you told me that this set of people are good for it, and if anybody is doing a call on a Saturday
Yeah.
in a holiday period,
Yes.
then they're serious people, right? So,
That's true.
So it
Yeah.
makes more sense for me to show up, right?
Like recently I was telling in your Flutterwave about it, and I was like, oh really? Wow. So he said he will get back to me if he's in the country, kind of, and all those stuff. So maybe we could just have a round talk like this one of these days again. We get to talk about a couple of things. He actually mentions his experience and his challenges as regarding tech and all those stuff like that. And it's just an open ground for everybody to have access. And I appreciate the fact that this founder position is sweet sometimes. So I say, well,
No, the beautiful thing about Web3 mostly, at least what I've seen is,
yeah,
it's a community.
yeah,
right?
true.
And you don't need 1,000 people. You don't
Yeah.
need if it's only 20 people that are really showing up, then they're the ones showing up, and that's it.
Right. That's true.
And what your job is to keep creating value for them to the point where more people now see it and want to come in.
Want to come in? Yeah, that's true. I agree with you.
That's the smartest way to do it, because why have 10,000 people where it's a challenge to manage the Discord where you can simply have 20 founders that cumulatively have 300,000 users.
That's true.
Good. Like, there's no need. Like, there's actually no need to pack plenty people.
True. I agree. So big time.
Just now we're discussing. Nzube is working on something. Bello already has like working stuff, right?
Yeah.
That's actually how you know people that are actually working. But
Working,
same thing too, right?
Mhm.
There are things that they already have. It's easier to help. It's easier to say, okay, fine. Okay, flesh this out. Use 1 week and flesh this out. Change this, and let me do an introduction. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But at least let's do an introduction, right? Now it's your duty to just go there and blow them away, right?
Yeah.
So that's it.
So after now, if you actually want to like really directly with Zubi, I just want to know the names of the people who are going to be, so that I don't just get to be passing them to him one after the other. So you can just reach out to him and reach out to me via via my mobile. I'll drop it on you just chat me up on WhatsApp. So I would actually share. So just to be aware about the amount of people that are actually going to be joining, kind of. So I believe we all had a nice time. Please, if you had a nice time, please give it a thumbs up, please. At least, or if your mind has actually been open to a certain extent, please I really appreciate everyone that actually came. And I think we should actually do this often, kind of. So I would actually be pushing this video for other people to get to see this experience, and if they are also interested in the Web3 space and they also want to know what we talked about in this space, they can actually be aware about it and all the stuff. So okay, so I'll check the mail.
I think one thing you can also do, like if you really want to do this often, right? I think the sprints present you a very nice opportunity to do it.
Oh, okay.
Because if you're working on sprints, then people can just come together and say, okay, fine, I'm working on this. So you can now share. You can basically just do the sprint on Google Meet, right?
Okay.
And share your pictures. Like, so when I do, so people, founders on Super Team, I basically review their pitch decks, help them. There was some pitch event they wanted for the other day. I basically help them do the pitch decks and all those things, right? How to talk to investors. Okay. So we do all those things on Google Meet. So everybody takes turns and we decide and we discuss it.
Okay. That makes sense.
So that's actually one of the easiest ways to do it, where people show up and they know that. Not only to come and hear, but this is a 1 hour meet.
It's almost 2 hours.
Yeah.
Right.
By the time I'm leaving with a better idea of my business. I'm leaving with a new future of my business. There's something tangible.
Right.
The beautiful thing about things like this is that keep it brief, have shared values, have incentives.
Yeah, right.
So the incentives for people is that I know if I come, I'm going to hear something that I can add to my product, or I'm going to be able to finish my product I've been working on since that I've been lazy, right?
Yeah.
Because all of us they do them together now. Maybe just come and do a sharp.
Yeah, that's
You
true.
understand?
Yeah.
So it's just that, right? I mean, and we can always have all this stuff as recorded stuff, right? As your community stuff.
Yeah.
You know, and before you know it, people see what they're doing, and people can like some people here I already know would actually probably build amazing companies in like in a year, right? In 6 months, right?
Yeah.
Depending on if they actually listen and they apply themselves, right? They can
That's
build
true.
amazing companies in like before the end of the year, right? So those people, when people know that they normally do this sprints, and that's actually where they basically flesh out their ideas and moved it and got jobs and did this and did that, right? It makes a whole lot of sense, and more people now want to come and join in the sessions.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's it basically. Yeah.
Okay. That makes sense. Thank you so much. So
I'm sure don't worry.
yeah, sure. I really appreciate everyone for being here. I really want to say thank you. Then if you want to book a session with me or whatever, although I'm not free anytime soon until maybe the next 2 weeks when I'm back to Lagos. So you can actually just book a 15-minute call with me, then we'll get to discuss on what your challenges are and all those stuff like that. So someone is saying thanks a lot, so
Okay, yeah, no worries. Yeah,
sure. Okay.
Yeah, well, definitely I'll keep talking. Yeah, so
sure.
like I said, please, Shades, just collect everything and send it to me like immediately, right?
Definitely, yeah,
So
sure.
put it up here.
Yeah, sure. No problem, it's fine. So we'll keep in touch, everyone. Thank you so much for joining this call. I really appreciate it. And thank you. Peace out. Sorry about my background. I'm in my childhood house. Where I was I think when I was 6. I started living here when I was 6. So yeah. Thanks, guys. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. Have a nice day. Thank you. Abayomi. Thank you. Thank you, Emmanuel.